John Carver lived in a small, remote town nestled within an expansive forest. The town, surrounded by towering pines and ancient oaks, seemed untouched by time. The morning sunlight filtered through the branches, casting intricate patterns on the moss-covered ground. Despite the town's serene beauty, an air of unease permeated the atmosphere. Children whispered about ghostly figures glimpsed at twilight, while old-timers shared tales of odd happenings deep in the woods. John, having lived here all his life, dismissed these as mere stories, yet couldn't shake a lingering sense of dread. For John, work in the forest was intimate yet isolating. His daily routine of chopping trees seemed a timeless dance between man and nature. The rhythmic chopping echoed through the solitude, occasionally interrupted by the unsettling silence that seemed to listen and remember. At home, his walls told stories through old photographs and heirlooms. They whispered of a family legacy tied closely to these woods, a history both revered and feared. Yet, in the quiet of night, shadows stretched longer, as though reaching for secrets buried deep in the Carver lineage. John's life was one of routine, woven with an unspoken tension, an existence bound to the forest that promised both sustenance and something darker. As he prepared for another day in the woods, the boundaries between legend and reality felt thinner than ever. The morning air was crisp as John made his way into the depths of the forest. Each step crunched the fallen leaves beneath his boots, the earthy scent mingling with the cool, misty breeze. The towering trees exuded an ancient presence, their branches like arms reaching skyward. As John swung his axe with practiced precision, he paused, feeling an odd sensation. He thought he heard soft whispers weaving through the rustle of leaves. Shaking it off as mere imagination, he returned to his work, focusing on the familiar rhythm. The whispers grew distinct, seeming to call his name. They carried an unsettling melody, like a forgotten lullaby. John glanced around, expecting to catch someone playing a trick, but found himself utterly alone amidst the towering giants. Trying to shake off his discomfort, John attributed the sounds to the wind funneled through the branches. Yet, a tingle ran down his spine, as if the forest itself was watching, waiting for his reaction. He forced himself to focus back on chopping, though his mind lingered on the uncanny experience. As the day drew on, the whispers subsided, blending back into the rustling leaves. John finished his work, the earlier unease now a fading memory. Yet, the forest felt different, alive in a way that made him question what was real and what was imagined. Back at his cabin, John settled by the fireplace, its warm glow casting flickering shadows on the walls. Curiosity led him to an old, dust-covered chest inherited from his grandfather. Inside lay a collection of yellowed letters and brittle documents, tied with a faded ribbon. As John read through the letters, the words revealed unsettling tales of the Carver family. Whispers of strange occurrences and eerie experiences in the woods were frequent topics. Each letter seemed to warn of a shadowy presence that lingered over their lineage. One letter, in particular, caught his attention. It spoke of a pact made generations ago, a binding agreement with the forest that demanded unending respect and vigilance. The details were vague, yet the urgency in the words was clear. John felt a chill despite the fire's warmth. Were the whispers he heard connected to this family legacy? The thought stirred something deep within him, a mix of fear and obligation. He realized he had to uncover more about this forgotten history. Determined to learn more, John decided to visit the local library and seek out any historical records related to his ancestors. As he prepared to leave, he glanced back at the letters, feeling a silent promise to honor the cryptic warnings of the past. Returning to the forest, John noticed something unusual among the trees near the logging site. Strange symbols, intricately carved into the bark, caught the morning light. Their designs were both fascinating and unsettling, twisting in elaborate patterns. Curiosity quickly turned to unease as he recognized some of the symbols from the letters he had found. They seemed to tell a story, a cryptic message woven into the fabric of the forest itself. He felt as though the trees were speaking, but he struggled to understand their language. As the days went by, more symbols appeared, each one more elaborate than the last. The carvings were always fresh, as if someone, or something, was keeping close watch on his every move. John's co-workers dismissed them as pranks, but he couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. One evening, determined to unravel the mystery, John photographed the symbols. He knew he needed a deeper understanding of these carvings. As night fell, a sense of urgency gripped him, as if time itself was running out. Looking at the photos later, John noticed a pattern. The symbols seemed to converge toward a single point deeper in the woods. It was as if they were guiding him, drawing him towards something hidden and potentially dangerous. One by one, John's fellow lumberjacks began to disappear. It started with Tom, who left for a short walk and never returned. Then others followed, vanishing without a trace, leaving behind only their tools and half-eaten lunches. Panic spread among the crew as fear tightened its grip. Some spoke of leaving, but the forest seemed to hold them with an invisible, unyielding hand. John felt the weight of responsibility pressing down, yet knew he had to unravel this mystery. One morning, John discovered his axe, covered in dried blood, leaning against a tree. He had no memory of the night before, only a vague sense of unease that haunted his thoughts. Suspicion from the crew turned toward him. Desperate to clear his name, John retraced his steps, but the forest yielded no answers. Instead, it seemed to mock him with each rustle and whisper, deepening the mystery surrounding his lost time. That night, as he lay restless in the camp, shadows danced with malicious intent at the edge of the firelight. Whispers grew louder, turning into cries and wailing that chilled him to the bone. Visions of lost friends and twisted, nightmarish landscapes haunted his mind. The boundary between reality and illusion blurred, leaving John to wonder if he was losing his grip on sanity. The whispers, once a soft murmur, now shouted his darkest secrets and fears. Every insecurity he'd buried came to life, echoing through the forest with a mocking cadence that tormented his soul. John struggled with the overwhelming sensation that the forest itself was judging him, laying bare his failures and amplifying his guilt. Each step seemed heavier than the last, burdened by despair. As night descended, the forest came alive with terrifying visions. Apparitions of the vanished workers appeared, their eyes hollow and questioning. Each one seemed to demand answers John couldn't provide. In a moment of clarity, John realized the forest was bound by an ancient curse, a pact made long ago. Tied to his bloodline, it demanded balance between man and nature. Breaking it required facing his deepest fears. Determined to put an end to the nightmare, John pursued the symbol's path into the depths of the forest. The center revealed a forgotten clearing, overgrown with twisted roots and bathed in an unnatural glow. There, an altar stood, marked by symbols from the letters. John's bloodline had long been tasked with maintaining peace between the tangible and ethereal realms of the forest, a duty neglected for generations. John realized he had to renew the vow, honor nature's balance or suffer the relentless cycle of loss and madness. With newfound courage, he made an offering, an oath born from guilt and redemption. With a whispered promise to protect the forest, a calm descended, and the oppressive darkness lifted. For the first time, the whispers softened, mingling with the rustle of leaves in peaceful harmony. The forest, now quiet and serene, wrapped John in a sense of newfound peace. The curse broken, the missing workers returned, unaware of their absence. Life slowly resumed its course in the town. Yet, as John left the woods behind him, a lingering shadow hinted that though balance had been restored, the pact would forever need watching, an eternal legacy of vigilance for the Carver name.